Ladies and gentlemen, Donald Trump is one of the weakest presidents we have ever had. Now, I've never been one to deny that Donald Trump does have a few good ideas.
In my opinion, we've spent $4 trillion trying to topple various people that, frankly, if they were there and if we could have spent that $4 trillion in the United States to fix our roads, our bridges, and all of the other problems, our airports, and all of the other problems we have, we would have been a lot better off. I can tell you that right now. We have done a tremendous disservice, not only to the Middle East, we've done a tremendous disservice to humanity. The people that have been killed, the people that have been wiped away, and for what? It's not like we had victory.
Trump's willingness to say things like that is the reason he was elected. It's also the reason why the U.S. national security establishment has spent the past 5 years gunning for him, but that's a different video. Trump's willingness to call out Washington, D.C. on the campaign trail was thrilling. Unfortunately, it's ended up being worse than useless because Trump is so unpardonably weak. Trump is not an honest man, but I think he may honestly believe that he is a president that has promoted peace. We hear a lot that Trump hasn't started any new wars, and if that were true, Trump would join Jimmy Carter as one of the most peace-loving U.S. presidents of all time. But it's not true. Trump has wisely backed down from war with Iran on a few occasions, but those occasions only came about because of his own weakness and lack of understanding. The truth is that Trump has already started a war with Iran. As I pointed out a month or so back, it's just on hold pending the result of the election. I'll link to that video at the end of this one. Oh, and there's North Korea, something I never cover, but there's a lot of smart people who think we got closer to nuclear war in 2017 than we have at any point since the Cuban Missile Crisis in the 1960s. Trumpers argue that this was bold, madman diplomacy on Trump's part, but so far it has yielded absolutely nothing. Even if Trump's behavior did yield an opening, which I dispute, he never bothered to hire anybody who was interested in doing anything with that opening. Just insane weakness. Trump has probably caused the most controversy with his statements on withdrawal from Syria. In recent months, I have spoken to multiple U.S. voters who believe that we actually did withdraw our troops from Syria. We have not. Donald Trump is so weak that he can't get the U.S. military to follow his orders. The military that he's nominally the commander-in-chief of. I don't blame anybody for being fooled by this, by the way. I've been fooled myself, multiple times. When Donald Trump suggested we get out, he was having one of his stopped clock moments. He is absolutely right about that. It pains me to admit this, but on this topic, Donald Trump is right. And all of those hashtag resistance neocons are very, very wrong. Hey there, I really hate to admit this, but Donald Trump may have just made the world a much safer place. Over the past week, world politics has been rolling. I got fooled too, over and over again. Syria is at the center of the peaceful Donald Trump story, but when we take a closer look at what actually happened, it becomes clear that there's nothing to that story. It's easy to forget, but under some definitions, it was actually Trump that first put boots on the ground in Syria. At the tail end of his presidency, Obama set up a small outpost to train and equip anti-ISIS fighters at Al-Tanf in the middle of the desert. But Obama did not deploy any permanent troops to the hotly contested areas in northern Syria. Before Trump, this region was just one of dozens all over the world where the U.S. has small, deniable, instantly removable deployments of special forces troops. It was Trump that sent in the Marines and set up the patrols that now occasionally feature troops from two nuclear powers playing chicken with military vehicles. The Obama administration was certainly trying to overthrow Assad covertly, but it's Trump that started using open elements of the U.S. military to kill Syrian soldiers and Russian mercenaries in large numbers. These distinctions may not seem important, but they are. The numbers are, of course, vastly smaller, but I think the closest parallel is the switch from what Kennedy was doing in Vietnam to what LBJ was doing in Vietnam. We certainly wouldn't say that LBJ took the United States out of Vietnam, would we? That makes about as much sense as saying that Trump took us out of Syria. After making our first open and permanent deployment of troops to northern Syria, Trump has repeatedly, clearly stated that he wants our troops to be removed from Syria. Yet they are still there. This is not like Trump's failure to reveal the new, better health plan he's been promising since 2015, or that infrastructure bill that never materialized. U.S. presidents don't have to negotiate with anybody when it comes to the military. Their orders are orders. Trump's the commander-in-chief, and within reason, if he wants the military to do something, it should do it. There is no bar to that, other than Trump's extraordinary weakness. The military distracted Trump with the illegal, impracticable, and absurd idea of taking Syria's oil. Despite years of claims from Trump, we still have 50% more boots on the ground in Syria than we did at the end of the Obama administration. Trump has made a fool of me, and he has made a fool of you, but mostly he has made a fool of himself. I think Trump has the right instincts on Afghanistan. I don't think Hillary Clinton would have negotiated with the Taliban, but there are some serious problems with his claim that he's bringing the troops home. After a couple loud troop drawdown controversies, at the middle of this year, journalists estimate that we had a little under 9,000 troops in Afghanistan. This is around the same number of troops we had in Afghanistan 4 years ago at the end of the Obama administration. The media has created the false impression of a peaceful Donald Trump, I suspect consciously to discredit the very idea of peace. One of the facts that they have left out is that Donald Trump started off in 2017 by jacking up troop levels in Afghanistan by 50%. Before this fall, the only troop deployments that Donald Trump had withdrawn from Afghanistan were troop deployments that Donald Trump had made. With the election impending, Trump is now scrambling to bring more troops home from Afghanistan and Iraq. Or so he claims. We don't really know because of one of the Trump administration's worst innovations. The Obama and Bush administrations had serious difficulties with honesty and transparency. But under those presidents, the Pentagon published regular reports of troop levels in Iraq, Afghanistan, and Syria. These reports stopped coming in December of 2017. Under Trump, we have no way of knowing whether what the White House tells us about troop levels has any truth to it at all. Trump's military has also ended the Obama administration's embarrassingly minor efforts towards drone warfare transparency. All reports indicate that the use and lethality of drones has skyrocketed, but it somehow never makes its way into the news cycle the way it did in the Obama administration. I guess Trump's tweets are just so much more interesting than all those dead women and children. This is just another realm where an absent commander-in-chief means the Pentagon can do whatever the hell it wants, with minimal transparency. Trump's weakness has ramifications far beyond his own presidency. The idea of bringing our troops home and engaging with the world diplomatically more than militarily is enduringly popular in the United States. U.S. government and media have a range of strategies that they use to thwart the will of the people on this. Trump has given them a new strategy. U.S. media has constructed a fraudulent story about a peaceful Donald Trump that they will use against anybody arguing for restraint in the coming years and decades. Trump's foulness and failure will be thrown in the face of anybody arguing against war. Donald Trump's staggering weakness has actually made the fight for peace much, much harder. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and click the bell next to the subscribe button to get a notification whenever I upload a new video. Thanks.